We went on a bike ride this morning.
Yeah.
Accountability check-in. No. We went on a bike ride this morning. The whole time, both of us were just like, oh, like she even said it feels like I'm going.
You and Bianca went.
Yeah, Bianca was like, I feel like I'm going through sand, and I was like, my legs are definitely heavy. I realized, so I didn't rest. I mean, I rested from the gym and stuff, but we moved it stuff yesterday. We moved it stuff yesterday, and I was dragging trees and didn't really take it. So she went and met up with Vanessa.
Oh yeah.
And Clarissa, and they worked out. And
how did that go?
She said it was awesome. She had a great time.
What's up, Vanessa, Clarissa? What's up, guys?
But yeah, they did a strength train. Like they just lifted weights and stuff. Just nothing too heavy or too crazy. But that's why like an immediate effect. She's been riding her bike every day.
Yes.
45 minutes, 2 hours sometimes we've been doing.
She's been doing a shit ton of cardio.
Yeah, dude. And her legs have gotten so much stronger. And then they did like legit. She said it wasn't nothing heavy or crazy, but they did a good workout. Did a bunch of stuff, squats and whatever with the rack and assault bike.
And she immediately felt the difference.
Yeah, like today she was. I was so tired too, but I was thinking about our conversation today, as we had talking about resistance training.
Yeah.
And I was like, there it is, like an immediate change in the whole. You can ride 40 miles and be in pain, and then another 30 miles the next day, and then another 20 miles that next day, and kind of fight through it. And then one day of squats, and she was like, I was like, let's turn around then. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, the stressor on the body is so much different. Like when you do cardio, even if you're doing like really, really heavy cardio, what you're stressing out there are your lungs, your cardiovascular system, how well your body can pump blood, and how well your body uses oxygen. When you do resistance training, you're talking about raw mechanical ripping of your fibers.
Yeah.
And that's it's a type of injury. It needs to heal. So yeah, if you work out cardio all the time and then suddenly jump into resistance training, your body, because it's a different stressor, is going to feel way different the next day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of like what we were talking about with cardio, and when you're doing like over performance. Depending on who you are, like maybe your mentality, like we talked about, is in that like that hardcore,
like where you're pushing too hard every single day.
No. Well, yeah. I mean that there's too much of anything is a bad thing, but like I think there's so much information. We were talking about it with cardio, that's why. But I think there's so much information especially obtainable and available for you today.
I don't know if y'all could hear that big ass fire truck that just went by. It's not for us.
But like I feel like there's you just
check the walls just to make sure we're still recording. I will die on camera.
What if the handle's warm? But it's isn't a ridiculous amount of information available to you. All you have to do is research what is resistance training, or like should I lift weights or whatever. And I feel like it's probably there's a lot of people, trainers included, I'm sure, that are lost at like the basics of it, not just the science of it, but like of how to explain to somebody why it's important.
Yeah. Well, so when you're talking about like resistance training, all we're talking about in general is when you're moving some sort of load, some sort of weight with your muscles. That's resistance training. And the weight could be anything. You could do good old-fashioned iron or bumper plates, barbells, dumbbells, that type of thing. You can also use like resistance bands, which we use them as a substitute for mechanical weight, but they have their own little nuances, which make them interesting, and they have their own uses because of that. And sometimes you can just use you can also, not sometimes, but you can also just use your body weight. You put your body in these really specific positions, and then you can use your own body weight as resistance. All of that counts. All of that does the same thing, albeit in slightly different ways. Which you actually wanted to talk about, like the different ways that resistance training can impact your body using the CPT.
So it's interesting because like working at the ranch